Hello, my name is Chelsea Lyons Kent, and I was a delegate for Bernie Sanders from Hawaii. I have been told by my fellow Democrats that I am not supposed to say anything bad about Hillary Clinton. I am not supposed to say anything about election fraud, and I am not supposed to say anything bad about senators or any other elected officials. But I'm going to do it anyways because, these things actually happen. So, I am not going to bore you with all of the details of election fraud for several reasons. A, I just can't memorize all of them. B, you don't want to listen to me rattle off choreographed lines for 30 minutes. And C, you can just Google it yourself. So what I'm going to do is give you a list of terms, and you can Google any one of these terms next to the word election fraud or Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders, and you will find all of the proof that you need to see that this election was choreographed. So, here we go. Arizona, New York, Nevada, California, Alabama, 30 points discrepancy, Clinton Victory Fund, purged voters, exit polls, registration changes, media blackout, Election Justice USA, WikiLeaks, and lawsuits. I think if you Google any one of these terms, you will find that Bernie Sanders was not just running against Hillary Clinton, he was running against the entire DNC, who from day one had already picked who their candidate was going to be. So let's say that half of this is true. Let's just give it the benefit of the doubt that even, a quarter or half of it is true. And Bernie Sanders had 43% of the delegates at the convention. Is it far-fetched to say that if half of that hadn't happened, that he would have been the presidential nominee? I think that he would have. I think there's a lot of other people who do think that he would have, So, we already knew about what had happened in the States because we'd been involved this whole time. But a lot of the WikiLeaks stuff came out while we were already in Philadelphia. So we're going through the motions. We're at the convention. Nobody's talking about it at the convention, but there's tons of protesters outside. And all the Bernie delegates are like, I can't believe nobody is talking about this. So we all just cause a ruckus. We have our signs everywhere. We're chanting at the top of our lungs. I think everybody lost their voice after Monday. There's a ton of people outside. There's just chaos everywhere. And it was just a huge rush of democracy springing, And then I get home and I see my mom and I'm like, oh, did you see all this? Did you see that? And she's like, what are you talking about? And then I realized throughout the first day or two, nobody saw any of it. They didn't cover any of it. So then I'm feeling like I'm in the fucking Twilight Zone because I have this, recollection of reality, and then the rest of the world has a totally different memory than I do because of the portrayal that they saw. So, I guess I'm wondering, where is all of the outraged people? Where is the uprising? Because, if this was sports, and somebody deflated a football or took steroids, they would lose all their trophies and their accolades, and every single news station in the country and all of the magazines would just have it on the front page of, shamed athlete gets kicked out of the league, will they let him back in next year? I don't know. It's a big fucking deal. But then, if you're Hillary Clinton and you steal an election, it's like, shh, you cannot talk about that. If you talk about that, you're letting Donald Trump win. It's like, how in the world do you justify that rigging sports is a far more punishable crime than rigging an election? Because, I mean, let's keep in mind that this affects everything. Like, she has changed the course of history by stealing this election. She didn't win this election. There's a huge difference between winning and stealing, or winning and cheating. So I'm just kind of baffled at this point as to why we are sweeping this under the rug. You know, yes, Donald Trump is terrible. Donald Trump got elected fairly. You know, the people should have a say in who gets these positions, because the people were just steamrolled in this election. And if we just sit here and we're quiet about it and we're like, oh, well, let's be quiet because for the good of this next election, you know, let's let her get in there. You know, this is just going to happen again every 4 years and 8 years. And that's another thing. People keep saying, like, talking to me like I'm a child, like, this has been happening forever. I mean, I don't see why you're so upset about this. This is the way it has always been. This is the way it has always been. It's like, if this is the way it has always been, why the fuck haven't you guys fixed it yet? If you guys have been aware of this for so long, and I'm just really late to this show, why have y'all done nothing about it? And you guys are just totally okay of handing this system over to us and saying, sorry dudes, this is the way it is. This is what you have to deal with. Well, this is not what I want to deal with. I want to have fair elections. I want to have a vote in what is happening in the future of the country that I live in and the future that my children live in. And one day they're going to be adults, and, you know, I hope they don't spend an entire year of their life working their asses off to try to change the course of history and then realize that the whole time they've been cheated. But I am glad that I did that. I'm glad I spent all of the time doing this, because while we did lose, and this is a little bit like the Twilight Zone, you know, we just got a whole year of like the best training ever. We have a huge network that is proven to be very capable, very passionate, and very organized. So while the media and the establishment seem to have this idea that we're just going to traipse off into the sun and go back to our lazy, ignorant lives and have nothing to do with politics from now on, which is probably what they're hoping, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that this is only the beginning, and the only thing that was really accomplished here is that now we're all really angry. You know, we were nearly half of that delegation at the convention, and now we're really angry. So I think that our local government and our national government over the next few years is going to start feeling the burn of this movement, because we're not going to go away. We are not sheeples who are just going to vote for Hillary anyways in a few weeks. I mean, some people are going to vote for Hillary, and that's fine. Vote for Hillary if you want to. I'm not going to vote for Hillary. And I have a friend who said it best, is asking me to vote for Hillary Clinton is like asking a woman to vote for her rape, or not vote for her rapist, to marry her rapist. Voting for a rapist would be ridiculous. But she imposed herself on us. She forced herself into this position and then said, you're going to get on board. And that's just not the way that that's going to work. So I say that we all get a little bit more outraged and we start putting our voices out there. We start putting our delegate stories out there, our stories from the campaign. And, you know, we are the media at this point. The media is not going to cover it. So stick to the media sources that you trust the best and seek out information for yourself, because it's all there. You know, Google has got everything you could possibly want to find, from the craziest conspiracy theory in the world to the media washed version of the truth. So Google stuff, pay attention to what's going on in your local area, and let your local representatives know that you are watching them. We are all watching. We are not going away. We are going to be stronger than ever. So I look forward to working with you all in the future, and it's going to be a crazy couple of months. Good luck surviving it. Bye.